Welcome to Read, Eat, Travel, Repeat, the book club and podcast with your hosts, Sarah, Kit, and Marianne, three friends who talk about all things books, food, and travel. Welcome, readers, eaters, and travelers to Read, Eat, Travel, Repeat, the podcast and book club where books take us beyond the page. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kit.
I'm Marianne. Today we'll be talking about the books we have read recently and books we think you need to add to your TBR pile.
And this episode is spoiler free, so if a book you haven't read comes up, don't worry, we're not going to ruin it for you. And as always, I'm going to apologize in advance for at least one book I'm going to talk about because we are adults and we say adult things. I'm so sorry. Anyways.
The podcast is 18 and over. That's all.
18 and over.
Or you can handle swear words.
18 and over.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, there's going to be so much worse than swear words.
Oh, gosh.
Okay,
one
of those
I can
books.
handle that.
Prepare yourself.
One of those books.
One of those books.
All right. Well, I think it's time to dig right in. So who wants to go first?
Well,
we decided you have to go last.
I can't go first anymore.
Right.
Because then someone has to talk after I say really weird
We can go in
things.
order. I can go first. Okay. I read 7 books this month. Woohoo. I only read 4 last month, so 7 was better. I was farm sitting again and by myself a lot, so I cruised through a couple audiobooks. First of all, Just Our Luck, Denise Williams, our book of the month, obviously. And then I read Life's Too Short, Abby Jimenez, which is the 3rd book in the Friend Zone series. I do not read them in order. I bought it a while ago. I've had it on my shelf forever. You can read them on their own. The characters are slightly connected. Like the only connection is that his cousin is the guy from the first book.
Yeah.
But they don't even really like mention it. You know, they don't like meet or anything like that.
Well, don't they go to a concert too for Jackson? What's his name?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah. They do
Yeah.
meet him. You're right. They do come. Yeah. But they're the couple that are in book 2.
Yeah. Sloan and
But
Jackson.
But I think it's Josh. Was that his name? Is the cousin from the first. The one with
Yeah, I think
Stuntman
so.
Mike. The one with Stuntman Mike, where the girl has Stuntman Mike. Yeah.
I still can't believe I didn't know that was the same person for as long as I didn't know. Because I followed Stuntman Mike.
He is hilarious.
Until like last year, and you guys were like, that's Abby Jimenez, right? And I was like, I did not know.
And if you don't follow, friends, you should, because Abby's dogs are just as entertaining
Hilarious.
as her books. I thought this book was going to break me. Like the premise of the girl who thinks life is too short is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then I was like, how is she going to end this without me sobbing hysterically? And I thought she did such a good job of ending it in a way that made sense for the characters without being hokey. So definitely, I thought it was really good. One of my favorites. Love the characters. Love the premise. And then I finally finished Heat of the Everflame by Ben Cole. Thought I'd get all 3 of those books done in 1 month, and that 34-hour audios kill ya.
And
now I have to wait until July for book 4 because I thought it was only a 3-book series. And of course, it leaves you on a cliffhanger. I really like this series, though. She does a great job world building. Love the characters. Fairly clean. Like it doesn't start to get a little bit spicy till book 3. So for those who aren't really into spice, it's definitely a little tamer. So, okay. And then bear with me. I got very nerdy. I read a horse book. I read a horse nonfiction book.
Yay!
Actually, I listened to it because I'm hoping to start riding and showing more again this summer. I listened to In the Middle Are the Horsemen by Tick Maynard, who's a rider that I follow. He and his wife, Sinead Halpin, are both eventers. And when he was in his 20s, this is like early 2000s, he felt like he wasn't learning anything. And so he became a working student. And when you're a working student at a farm, you work for free. You get room and board.
Yep.
You ride horses. You ride with big name trainers, Olympians, whatever, and you earn your keep that way. And he decided he was going to take a year out of his life to figure out what he wanted. And it is such a good book. He wanted to train with people of different disciplines. So he trained with a dressage person. He actually trained with 2. One he didn't really get along with. He spent like 2 months there and then spent his last month in Germany with Ingrid Klimke, who was like the master. Anyone who knows anything about horses knows her father, Rainer Klimke, is like,
Yep.
I mean, the master. And then he went in with Karen and David O'Connor, who are eventers in the US, Olympians. And then he went to a cowboy in
Oh,
Texas and learned how to like rope steer and
yeah.
things like that. It was the cool he really went into everything that he could possibly learn from different people because his whole thing was like, why is the way everyone trains different?
Mhm.
Why is it different and how do I address that? So it was a really good nonfiction book. I really liked it. He narrates it too.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and it's before he met Sinead, so of course they're together by the end. But him
Mhm.
just kind of figuring out his life, but also figuring out how to be a better rider and not just a better rider, how to be a better person who communicates with horses. Like not just, so really kind of any animal person. Then I read The Library of Lost Love by Nori Clark. This one, I have mixed feelings about it. It was like a mix of You've Got Mail and the movie Letters to Juliet.
Mhm.
You have two sort of romances going on. The one girl, she gets scammed by a boyfriend, finds herself basically homeless. He's taken all her money. And she decides, cool premise, decides to take on a room living with an older woman. And the
Mhm.
older woman has decided to take a younger boarder to kind of like bring a little life back in. So that relationship was really awesome. They both decide they're going to do the opposite. The older woman is going to get on social media and like learn how to communicate because she's kind of been housebound. And the younger girl, she's like, I'm not going to use social media. So that premise was really cool. But then there's a whole bunch of subplots that I was like, okay. And they both kind of start dating, but like the old lady, she's got like a lot of baggage. And so then you get into those stories. And the young girl, she like works for a cinema and the cinemas it was
Too
almost too
much?
much. I felt
Mhm.
like one of them, like in Letters to Juliet, Vanessa Redgrave tries
Yeah.
to find her old boyfriend. The
Yeah.
woman does
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
same thing. So she's got these letters, hence the Library of Lost Love. She's got all these letters from this ex-boyfriend of hers
Yeah.
from 50 years ago. Her husband has since died or whatever. So, like, just kinda weird. But then also
Yeah.
the other girl's You've Got Mail because she's writing letters in the newspaper to this other guy, and it just got it was okay, but it slowed it down. And then I read 2 arcs. I was so proud of myself. I signed on to my NetGalley, and I was like, "I have 2 arcs waiting." One of them, A Good Animal by Sarah Mauer. It actually came out February 25th. I read it listened to it last week. Macmillan Audio, St. Martin's Press is who's doing it. I remember I picked this one up because it takes place in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, on a sheep farm. I know nothing
Okay.
about sheep.
Great.
This is one of those books. It was so beautifully written, coming of age. One of those books that seems to be about nothing, but is about everything. Like, when you get to the
Mm.
end, you
Mhm.
realize you're like, "Wow, that was,
That was
like,
like a whole
a
story.
lot," because
Yeah.
it's his coming of age story as he's trying to figure out everything on his own. He's, grew up with sheep like his parents, and he meets this girl, and he's senior in high school or whatever. It was fantastic. I
Well,
loved
that's
it,
good.
and
Nice.
then realized as I was looking on Facebook, she's coming to Grand Haven, like, next week, and I'm like, "Oh."
Done.
And
You're like,
I had already put
"Hello."
in interested to go listen because she's at our local bookstore, one of our local bookstores, and my friend in my other book club had already put in interested, so I'm like, "I'm definitely gonna go because I also wanna buy a
Definitely.
book and get it signed because it was really good." The
Nice.
last one, oh, I read also an arc called The Story Keeper by Kelly Reimer. I literally have no words for this book. It was so good. Um,
The
it
name
is a
sounds really familiar.
it is a
Yeah,
book
right?
within a it doesn't come out until July 21st.
Interesting.
It is a book within a book. A woman, Fiona, she lives in Sydney and she moves to Forbes, which is, I don't remember, further inland. I do not know Australia geography very well. And just to kind of put her life back together. So she ends up buying this mansion from her uncle who has passed away. So you got Scary Mansion, all the stuff going on. And then she finds a manuscript called The Midnight Estate. So it's kind of like a dual story, but
Mhm.
they connect in the end. And it was so good. That's the one I'll be recommending to everyone. So
I
That's
just
so
pulled because I'm like, "God, the
the
author's name sounds
cover's
so familiar."
beautiful.
The cover's
Yeah,
beautiful.
she did
She's written a lot of books
a lot of
that
historical
I'm
fiction.
so bad with, like, matching up authors with titles unless it's, like, something I just recently read, but
Yep,
things we cannot say.
Yep.
is a phenomenal book. She wrote that. That's the
Warsaw
one I was
Orphan.
thinking of.
The
Is it
Warsaw Orphan.
How do you spell her name?
Ellie Rimmer?
Rimmer,
R-I,
yeah.
yeah,
Rimmer, yeah.
R-I-M-M-E-R.
If the
Yeah,
book
things we
looks
cannot
like
say I read.
if the books look like this, I wanna buy one because the cover's
Yeah, they're
beautiful,
gorgeous.
and it has, painted edges
Mhm.
Ooh,
of,
I
like, a
do love that. I'm
bookshelf.
a sucker for that.
Um, it's a book I mean, I haven't read anything about Australia. She brought in a totally new
Hmm.
kinda world, but also I'm a sucker for a scary mansion.
Yeah,
Hidden
yeah. Mhm.
secrets, things like that. It was
Yeah.
just it got done, and I was like, "I need another chapter." Like, it was so
I want
I
more.
wanna
Yeah,
know more what happens. So, yeah. So that's what I read. I feel pretty good about I felt like I read some very quality books this month.
yeah.
So,
That's cool.
yeah. All right. What about you, Marianne?
Okay, so for me, didn't feel like read a lot. I listened to 3 audiobooks, all of which I'd already read because that's my favorite thing to do. First 2 were both narrated by Julia Whalen, and I just love her. The first o the one, the Give Her Stars by Jojo Moyes,
Mm.
which is
Mhm.
historical fiction about the pack horse librarians during the Great Depression. I don't know, there was something about it that was even so much
Loved
better the
that book.
second time
Yeah,
through.
Yeah.
Yes, and the
me
second
too.
time through, the audio just I just loved it so much more. Just all of the trials and tribulations the women went through, the discrimination of, with the one woman who had to work after hours because she was Black. It just like
Mhm.
Mhm.
it was just fascinating. And it's just fascinating to me too that Jojo Moyes is an English author and she did all
Yeah,
that research to write a book set in like what Kentucky foothills or something.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like I had no idea that she was English until I read her next book. I'm like,
mhm.
whoa, wait a minute. This
Isn't
is
there I feel like in the afterword from her or something too, she talks about that. Like, you would
may,
not
may,
expect
The
an
research.
English
probably.
author to write about this, but it was something she did a lot of research on because she was fascinated by it.
Yeah,
This
it's such
whole
Yeah.
a like
notion that
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's how they tackled the problem at hand or the moment at hand.
and that's narrated by Julie Whelan? Does she narrate all of JoJo Moyes?
Think so. No, I don't think so, but she did that one. It was really good. And it's funny as I saw Julia Whalen did like a TikTok about some of her favorite books that she's narrated, and that was one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Another one I read, listened to that was narrated by her is called These Summer Storms, and I had read it originally as an arc, and then I loved it even more as an audio. It's out now. It's been out for a while. It's by Sarah McLean. It's about this billionaire family, and it's supposed to be kind of like the dad is like a cell phone and tablet um, creator, and see, you kind of think of like Apple because they have
Mhm.
like the phones and stuff like that. But he dies in a windsurfing accident. He's like 70. He's got 4 adult children, and he sends his fixer to this island that they have. It's like their summer home or whatever. And each one of them has a task they have to fulfill. Like the son, who's like a real douchebag, he's only allowed to speak on even odd number hours. I don't know. Every other hour, he's allowed to speak.
Okay,
And
interesting.
the one daughter, the oldest daughter, is having an affair with their pilot, and it's like a open secret. Well, her task is to break up with him in order to get their inheritance. And
Mhm.
the youngest daughter doesn't actually she gets an envelope, but she doesn't have a task. The mother, who's like a royal raving bitch, her task is to say one nice thing about her husband every day
Oh.
and always speak the truth. And then the last
I kinda
child
like that though.
I
I
know.
yes. Like that I
I
was gonna be
love
like,
this
"Oh, you
book.
could just make stuff up," but like, no, it's gotta be true.
No,
I
Yeah.
like that.
yeah.
And, and, like, she's like this oh my gosh, she's this bitch, and she's so horrible. And then the other daughter, though, she got cast out of the family because of the fact that there was sexual harassment going on at her dad's company, and she brought it to light. And so her dad basically threw her out of the family. So she hadn't seen her dad for 5 years before he died. And her task, she doesn't get an envelope, but the fixer, Jack, he tells her task, and that is she's not allowed to leave the island until after the funeral.
Okay.
And so, of course, she wants to get the hell out of Dodge because these
Mhm.
people are all crazy, but they won't let her get out of Dodge because their inheritance is all contingent on her staying for the week. Because if
Yeah.
she leaves, they all
Then
lose.
they
If
all
any of them break, and
okay.
it's like this family drama has got this like intrigue, but there's also a romance because Jack may or may not fall in love with the
Ah,
outcast daughter.
of
Ooh.
course.
Okay, because he actually at the very beginning of the book they have a one night stand, and he knows who she is, but
Mhm.
she doesn't know who he is, and I really liked it. You should. That's why I
I
think I
like
texted you guys.
yeah.
You need to read it.
Mhm.
Uh,
I'm put it on my list.
It
yeah,
sounds fun, like
I really like. Oh my god, the mother like she refused to call like the funeral a funeral. It was a celebration,
oh,
and somebody would
Celebration
say,
of life.
"Well, who's coming to the to the funeral?" It's a celebration, So, oh, she was so mean. Uh, and then the other book I listened to was "Wished You Were Here" by Jodi Picoult, which I've already read before. I read this for my book club. We were looking for a book that's about love, and this one is very indirectly about love because the main character, she goes through some life events that you can't really talk about without giving the book away.
is that the Galapagos Island one?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I've
Okay.
got that on my list. I need to read
Yeah.
that.
And she goes through some stuff, but like she learns to like put herself first rather than
Mhm.
necessarily following a plan and opens herself up to different possibilities after these events happen. So I really liked that book. It got some really good discussions going in my book club.
Nice.
I read one arc, which was Road Trip by Mary Kay Andrews. Read Mary Kay Andrews for years and years. We had her on Eve's Fan Garden one time,
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree, a while
Yeah.
ago, yeah.
So like
I
when you start thinking about how long ago that was, you're like,
yeah.
Like 15
yes.
years ago.
I
Once upon
love
a time.
her. I mean, and now she's very outspoken politically, and I just
Mhm.
love her badassery.
Mhm.
Um, I just didn't love this book.
I
That's
know, this
Um,
one's on my
okay. Not
list
every
too,
book
so
for
I'm like, "Ooh."
everybody.
didn't I didn't hate it. I just felt like it's another one about an inheritance. And these two sisters from Savannah, well, one lives in Savannah, one's been on the road trying to make it as an actress. Um, they have this mystery to solve because there's a painting in their mom's house that supposedly is like worth a lot of money. But their mom left them a coffee can full of money with the stipulation they had to take a trip to Ireland to go and see Ireland, which is where she was from. And one of the things I didn't like was like some things just were solved too quickly.
Yeah.
Like they find this
Too
old
neatly or
relative
whatever,
Yeah.
yeah.
and and I did love it, but I didn't hate it either. And
I
I
love
love
the
Mary Kay
cover.
Andrew.
I
I
love
know.
the
And it's
cover, it's so
Ireland. So of course I
cute,
love
I'm just like
Ireland,
Right.
yeah.
but it was not my favorite Mary Kay Andrews.
Mhm.
But I love her.
Yeah.
I feel guilty saying I didn't like her book, but that's my
That's
Italian
okay.
Catholic
They
Yeah.
guilt.
can't they can't all be
No,
I know.
bangers.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I also then as far as like books I read, The Storyteller by Jodi Picoult, super intense. I was a little disappointed by one of the choices the main character made at the end, but overall, excellent, excellent, excellent books. Historical fiction and family drama kind of thing. Very good, excellent. And then the other book I read, which was for one of my book clubs, was The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. And it is a book told completely in letters.
I just read the description. Carry on.
It's all told in letters, which I found out is called an epistolary
Mhm.
novel.
Oh.
I also just learned that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And Sybil Van Antwerp is a miserable cow until she isn't. Okay. She is 72 years old at the beginning of the book. She's a retired attorney. She worked as a clerk for a judge. And so she was, it starts off, I think, in 2013. So, if you think about it, 13 years ago, women that when she was working, that was probably kind of unlikely for a woman to be like
Right.
the clerk
Yeah.
to a
Mhm,
judge or
mhm.
whatever. And, well, she corresponds in letters to everybody. And she has this very prim and proper way of writing. She orders her stationery from England. She doesn't like using the computer. Oh, and like she just is so miserable. And you just want to go, like, we all talked about it in my book club. Like, it's like you don't want to keep reading the book because she, like, God, she's
Yeah.
miserable. I don't
Mhm.
like this lady.
Mhm.
And then as you read it and you learn more of her story, and she softens up a lot. And by the end, she's still kind of miserable, but she's relatable miserable by then.
Well, I'll say if you
Yeah.
have a reason, when you start to
Yeah,
get the
Yeah.
reasons, I like that in books where
Why
it's
yeah,
are
like,
you the way you are?
I
Yeah.
hate them, but
yeah,
then also this is why.
Maybe I
yeah.
Yeah.
understand.
So and I'm listening to it now because I really like to like because in the when you
Mhm.
listen to it, each one of the letters that she writes is a different narrator, like whoever.
Okay.
So it's a bunch of
Whoever's
different
receiving it,
voices.
like whoever's
Yes,
receiving it, it's
Oh,
their voice.
I like that. I
I
yes,
like
would
that.
like that too.
Yeah.
My
but
book club has picked that for later, so maybe I'll listen to it for
the
that
thing
reason.
is I think, like, a couple of the people from my book club who tried to listen to it because they didn't know where the story was going, they had trouble with the
Oh,
Oh,
listening.
okay.
okay.
So
Yep.
that's why I think reading first, listening second works really well because you know why there's a Scottish woman or a
Mm.
Syrian
Yeah.
man or a Belgium man. You
Okay.
understand why all these different voices are coming at you, and you learn their relationships, and then you can kind of just get involved in the story.
Mhm.
So I would definitely recommend that one for sure. Like I said, it's not a lot happens except like her character growth. So I guess that's what
Mhm.
character driven.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm glad I read it. It's very popular right now, and I'm glad I
It
read it.
is. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
pretty popular.
And then, of course, I finished Just Our Luck by Denise Williams in February, and this was our last featured book. So if you want to know anything about it, I'm not going to say anything now. You just should listen to that
Go listen to the
episode.
other episode.
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
on to you, Kit.
All right. I read way more books than I thought I did this month. I was kind of surprised, like when I started going back through. I had a bunch of arcs from Edelweiss, so we'll go through those first. The first one I read was Love and Other Brain Experiments. That's by Hannah Brahm. I picked it up because I love Allie Hazelwood,
Hmm.
and this really felt kind of like reminiscent of that same kind of
Okay.
like
Right.
Yeah.
rivals to lovers, like super smart people who are like so dumb when it comes to love. And I like that. I like that kind of like, these people are so, so smart and so, so stupid. And it's fake dating, which I'm a sucker for every time.
Yeah. One of our
So
favorite
that's
tropes.
one of my favorite. So I really liked that one. And then I read a couple that I picked up because they looked kind of like old kind of like pulp fiction kind of
Hmm.
books, and I
Okay.
do really, really love that. The first one was Of Ink and Alchemy. It's the first book in the Black Rabbit series. This one I liked, but I don't think it's really the book for me. I don't love well, okay. So it's a dark romance and it starts super, super kind of hot and heavy, and you're like, the girl has to choose between two guys, one that's kind of boring that she's dating. The other one runs the tattoo shop. She kind of works with him, and he's like a old flame, and they start to like rekindle a little bit, and she's got to like decide. But then it turns out that the tattoo guy, his name's Logan, is like a stalker, and that's not my favorite trope. That's like,
Yeah.
but it was written really, really well.
Yeah.
It wasn't, so much that it turned me off from reading the book, but it's not really my favorite, but some people love that. So if that's you, if you love a good dark romance that's a little suspect in his, like, he is morally
Mhm.
gray, but it's also kinda hot. Like, that might be, like, your jam. And that one's by Sloane St. James. If you're listening to the podcast and
Is
not
that
watching the
Jerry?
video, I'm gonna go ahead and recap the fact that mid-sentence, Marianne just jumped a mile while yelling and is now resting back against her wall, eyes closed, catching her breath, and I assume letting her heart return to its normal heart rate.
The dog
Also, my
was
hair matches your wall, and it's really distracting to me.
It does, it
It
does.
does. It's like, everything okay over there?
I heard the dog doing something. I couldn't tell what he was doing. And so I checked Jerry's location. It said he was 2/10 of a mile away. So I'm like, okay, well, Jerry's not home. So what's the dog doing? I was getting ready to tell you guys I need to go check on the dog. And then I see a hand reach into my door
Oh,
to close the door.
Jerry's home. The third arc I read this month, also from Ada Wise, is by Victoria Wilder, and it's called Bourbon and Secrets. This is the second book in the series. This is definitely more kind of what I was thinking for the other one too. It's set in Kentucky. There's the Fox brothers, and what I liked about this one is that they're like firmly middle-aged main characters.
Okay.
Like the main guy has 2 daughters. He has like 2 priorities in his life: taking care of his kids, making good bourbon. And
love
then
it.
the main female character, Faye, returns to town. She's by trade is a cop and a burlesque dancer.
Awesome.
And everything about that, I was like, what? But it works. It works really well. And she like is intriguing to everyone, like literally everyone. And she's blackmailing him. He's trying to figure out like what are her intentions. There's so many like little twists and turns, but it's not like a huge straight up mystery. It's just kind of a small town secrets that should be kept and secrets that
Okay.
are definitely going to be revealed, kind of a, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Where like
yeah.
you're kind of trying to figure out like which of these things is going to cause the most impact.
Yeah.
But they fucking hate each other to start. So it is definitely an enemies to lovers. And it's really good. And I didn't read the first book. They can be read kind of independently, but I'm definitely going to go back and read it because it was really cute. And really, it was just like a fun, twisty, turny book. And then I read Meet Cute, which I was reading on our live out loud.
Oh, that's right.
Tons of really cute short stories for Valentine's Day from some of our favorite romance authors. That was really good. I read a book called Beauty Within the Beast. That was a kind of really short novella. It's by Anara Gage. She's a local author to me. I picked her book up at Cherry on Top Bookshop, which is our new romance bookshop that I love. And I grabbed it because obviously it's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling where the girl is the beast. And the boy is the one that gets trapped.
Okay.
And it's really short, and I wasn't entirely sure how it was going to play out, but he's wise to the game way faster than Belle was in the original Disney Beauty and the Beast. So he's kind of working with her right away and is more involved in the idea of you're still a human in there. Even if you look a certain way outside, you still have humanity. So it's a really cute kind of fractured fairy tale that also is pretty smutty in some spots.
Okay.
And then I listened to 2 books. I listened to The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden. I didn't like it as much as the second one. I think it's the third one. I think I somehow skipped one because that's what Spotify gave me next. It was okay. What I did appreciate about it, which this is now the 3rd book by Frida McFadden that I've listened to, is that no matter how much I think I know what the twist is going to be, there's always some other random twist where I'm like, I didn't even see that coming.
Even if you don't like it, you're like, I saw it coming.
I was like, okay, cool. It was good. I didn't like it as much as the other one that I listened to of hers, but it was solid. But what I have found is that I'm not a huge audiobook listener except for these mysteries. Like for whatever reason, listening to a mystery is working for me.
Yep.
So now that's my thing.
Yeah.
And then I immediately grabbed My Husband's Wife because it was what was recommended next. And then I ran out of minutes. So I listened to it on Audible. This one is crazy good. This one is for at least the first half, I had no fucking idea what was going on. I didn't know which character was which, but that's by design because essentially there's a main character who goes out for a run and comes back to her house and finds out that she's been replaced by a lookalike.
Oh, and I know it's so
I'm
good.
like, is she being gaslit? Is she gaslighting? Like, I couldn't figure out who was playing who and like what the fuck was happening. And then at the very end, I swear to God, Sarah, when I got that final twist, I was in my car by myself and I just went, wait, what the fuck is happening right now? What is happening
Probably
right
text you
now?
right away and be like, "What?"
Because it was not even remotely what I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be. I thought I had it figured out. I was like, oh, this is like pretty, like, about 3/4 of the way through, you start to really piece together, this is this person, this is this person.
I love books like that,
You've
where you're
got an
kinda like, you
idea of,
think especially in a mystery, like, you let me think I
yeah,
have it figured out and then blow me
yeah.
away with, like,
I was
not what you think.
100% certain
Yep.
of who each of the players were and how they were coming together.
Yes.
I wasn't
Yes.
sure who was going to be the bad guy yet,
Yeah.
but I thought I had a handle on who everyone was,
Mhm.
and I was wrong. I wasn't even close. I was so far off the map that when I was, like, driving by myself with the dog in the backseat, losing my mind,
My gosh.
like, what is so I love this one, and it did not hurt that the main male character, Harrison, was voiced by Richard Armitage, because I'm not gonna lie, that's why I picked it. I was
He
like, I
apparently
would
does
like
a
to
lot of
listen to Richard Armitage.
he does a lot of Alice Penny books because I listened that Beautiful Ugly that I didn't
Yeah, yeah,
love.
yeah.
I thought it was too weird at the end, but
Yeah.
he narrated it and it was very
Yeah.
lovely.
He also, I discovered on Audible, has a free sleep stories that's 42 minutes long, so if you enjoy his voice as much as I do, go ahead and do that, because
Love
that's
it.
how I've fallen asleep
Love
for the
it.
last 3 nights.
Perfect.
Then I picked up another book at the Boulder Bookshop down in Boulder, Colorado. It's called Hot Victorians. And it's, for those of you that are gonna look on YouTube, for those of you that aren't, go to our TikToks. I already made a video. It quite literally what it says it is. It's straight up dating profiles for hot Victorian men. I don't This says it's Sigmund Freud. I gotta double check that. I don't know if that's what he really looks like. But it says, I'm looking for someone who isn't afraid to explore the depths of the unconscious. Someone who won't mind a few slips of the tongue and is willing to open up about their repressed desires. Every single, like, this is Private Nash from Massachusetts. He's Mr. Private Parts in here. Swipe if you like a man that always rises to the occasion. He's the kind of guy that can plow a field. This book is hilarious.
Young Sigmund Freud.
Maybe
I
that
was
is
gonna
him.
say,
I
I
was
just
like,
Googled
boy,
him
you
too,
a
and he's
hottie.
pretty hot.
Yeah. Like, who fucking knew? Look at you
Yeah.
go, sir.
Trim that beard a little and he'd be
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. And there's the different meet the dream man from the past. This book is hilarious. If you need a book to, like, gift someone, like,
Perfect.
go for it. It's so funny.
That sounds like a really good I like to give random books for, like, white elephant gifts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely like a good book for that kind of thing. And then I read The Illustrated Man, which we talked about last time, that I had ordered it off of Etsy so I could get the original cover. I forgot how much I loved this book. Like, I knew I loved it, but then as I was reading it, it was all, like, coming back to me. And there's so many great short stories by Ray Bradbury in there that I forgot were part of this collection, and I forgot how they all came together. So I was really,
The
really
Veld.
happy. Yeah, yeah. Which, that right out the gate, that's like book number 1.
Yeah,
And I was like,
it's
oh, I
we used to
forgot.
teach that. We
Yeah.
teach that
That's
in our
and
English.
so, like, apt for right now. Like, the
Yes.
idea of, like, a virtual reality
Virtual reality world, and
room,
it basically, like,
and your house is controlled by a
becomes
computer. Like,
becomes the kids
sir.
and it becomes the kids' reality. Like,
Yeah.
their reality is
Yes. And
it's
their believing in it
crazy.
makes it so.
Yes. Yes.
Crazy good, crazy good. And then, I'm horrible with titles of the short stories, but you get into the ones about, like, colonizing Mars,
Yep.
and all the minorities are sent to Mars.
Marionettes in that one? Is it
I'm not sure.
marionettes or is it the other there's another short story in there I read too
It's so good.
that's similar. Like, he
Yeah.
just yeah.
I just I had forgotten, like, how good that book was. So I was, like,
I
super
may have
excited to
literally
read it.
cried when he died, like, as an author, like,
Mhm.
kinda I don't know.
Yeah.
And my dad's a huge science fiction fan, so, like, I grew up just knowing who Ray Bradbury was,
Yeah.
watching Ray Bradbury Presents, his TV show
Yeah.
and all that.
And some of them are what's the name of it? Kaleidoscope is such a just like rando little one where it's just like, what if
What
your
if yeah.
spacecraft malfunctions and you're just floating off into space?
Yeah.
What are the things that are important to you and that you know you're going to die? You don't know how long it's going to take for you
Right.
to die. And they're all obviously pissed off at each other. So like who do you blame in a moment like that?
Yeah.
But then the last thing is the one guy, Hollis, falling through the Earth's atmosphere
Mhm.
and a little kid seeing it as a shooting star. Like it's just that tiny
It's
little twist
just
at the
yeah.
end where you're like, oh dang.
Yeah. And he doesn't yeah.
Yeah. So I love that book. So I was super, super glad that it came up when we were talking about Fahrenheit
Mhm.
451 and that I was able to snag the copy that I wanted. Cause I used to have an original copy forever and I just don't know where it went.
Yeah.
So I was yay for Etsy for bailing me out on that one. Okay. So
I'm scared.
and now for my last book.
All right.
You all know Danielle of Ugly Stepsister fame back from the Princess Posse sent me a video on Instagram of of someone reviewing this short story from Kindle Unlimited. And it is insane. And the minute she sent it, I was like, goodbye Shamrock, which is what I was going to read. I was
Right.
like, it's not even worth it anymore. Nothing will be better than this. This book is called The Final Dip. It is by an author named Kay Bellow. It is the first in a trilogy. The second book just came out. I haven't read it yet, so don't even ask me what happens in it. But here's the tagline on The Final Dip. One nugget, endless temptations. So here's the deal. The main character's name is Penelope, and she's a regular at a restaurant that has the best chicken nuggets. And they have like a bazillion flavors of sauces, right? And first of all, I appreciate the fact that Penelope treats eating a chicken nugget like a religious experience.
Right.
Like we're not talking like McDonald's McNuggets here. We're talking about like high quality chicken nuggets and like homemade sauces. And each sauce is to be savored because like what kind of a mood?
Mhm.
Are you in a sweet and sour kind of mood? Are you in a barbecue? What is your mood? Your sauce reflects where you are in life.
Okay.
And then for reasons that I do not understand, Penelope turns into a chicken nugget. Right? Like mystical
Okay.
things are afoot. Turns into a chicken nugget and she tumbles across the table. She doesn't have legs or anything. She's tumbling around. And the sauces are like, hot damn, that is a sexy chicken nugget. We want some of that up in here. So then all the sauces, I don't know if they just say toddle over or whatever, but the sauces are offering themselves up to Penelope, the chicken nugget, to dip herself into. And when I tell you, Kay Bellow, girl, boy, I don't know, girl, boy, they, them, I
Person, yeah.
don't know, person. The manner in which this author was able to somehow describe each sauce in like an erotic fashion should be studied because she wrote chicken nugget porn and it was weird. But every single one you read, you were like, that is what barbecue, like, that's how you would describe barbecue sauce. Like, yeah, dude, that is what teriyaki sauce would be. And there's all sorts of ghost pepper sauces who's like super mean and like poor Penelope, the chicken nuggets, skin's getting scorched off by the ghost pepper, but she kind of likes it because she's into that. This whole book is insane. And I wish I had saved some quotes, but I think I already deleted it off my Kindle. Thank God Danielle was like, you know who needs this? Kit.
Kit
You know
needs
what?
it.
This needs to be on a podcast. I don't even really know how to explain it, except for the fact that like she somehow wrote chicken nugget porn. Like sometimes the food porn is like people with food. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? This is a straight up chicken nugget and dozens of dipping sauces.
So what's
It's
next? Like a mozzarella stick or,
No. So the girl turns back. There's more. The
Yeah.
girl turns back into a human at the end. And she meets a guy named Enzo and she's like just searching for the same kind of love she felt from the sauce from Enzo. And I'm thinking to myself, like, just get a big thing of sauce and let Enzo pour it all over you. But whatever. I can't put this is not hard. Sauce still exists. Be sticky, but whatever. It's the Dipped in Delusion trilogy. Book 2 is The Last Crumb. Haven't read it yet. But Penelope thought she had survived her darkest cravings. Inside Enzo's scarred arms, don't know why he has scarred arms, but he does. She finds love that feels raw, consuming, and dangerously real. But then their passion creates something neither of them can explain. Her body changes again, and whispers of something ancient begin to surface. There is nothing in this description that would make you guess what she
is
turns
happening?
into next. But it's a gingerbread man.
Okay, so I have to pull up their reviews, of course.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
there's a couple quotes in one of these.
Oh, great. Because
She was
I did not.
she
I must have
was
been screenshotting them and texting them to people, but I didn't actually
you
save
didn't
them in
say
my Kindle.
she was sauce master.
Yes,
The
yes.
flavor slut, a gluttonous goddess of spice and seduction. No, this is better though. You wanted one flavor? Nuggy cried, glistening,
Yeah.
glowing.
Oh, yeah.
I've
kept
every
calling her Nuggy.
flavor. She plunged into garlic parmesan, then bourbon barbecue, then ranch, riding each high with abandon. The air was thick with scent, sound, and forbidden spice. Even
Okay.
better, one of these reviews is a 1-star, and it says 0 out of 10. I found this impossible to masturbate to.
My God.
Jokes aside, read this for
I
my unhinged book club evening
cannot.
while we ate nuggets, and we laughed at the absurdity of this book. So many
It's
sauces,
so funny.
so many body parts that didn't exist but did.
Yeah, like she's talking about folds and like sauces dripping in between things. You're a fucking nugget, dude. You don't even have legs. Like, what are we doing right now?
Some of these, I love reading the people that are like, girl, genuinely, what the hell was going on here? Like,
Like, what was going on in your head
mhm.
when I'm seeing if I can pull up where I know
Yeah,
I
they're
texted clips of this to people. So now I'm trying to see like where, because I read it on that's why I read it on my phone. Oh my God, got it. Okay. Um, Ranch dipped a corner of her edge, just a taste. Coolness after the burn, softness after the flame. It was too much and not enough. Sriracha didn't wait. He dragged his tongue, figuratively, and then somehow literally across her sauce-slicked top, searing
my
her
God.
anew.
My God.
Barbecue remnants still lingered from before, and still, Nuggy craved more.
Okay.
Mhm.
So are you going to
Love
read the last
overrated.
crumb next?
Relationships messy. Commitment a good way to ruin a perfectly decent set. But here, okay, so this is why I thought this book. I was like, good for you. Penelope Morgan, that's the main character, didn't believe in soulmates. She just believed in satisfaction. Love overrated. Relationships messy. Commitment a good way to ruin a perfectly decent Saturday night. But chicken nuggets. Golden, dependable, hot and crispy. Nuggets didn't send you mixed signals. She's not
True.
wrong.
True.
Not wrong. So she's just out there being a nugget seducing sauces.
Okay.
And
As one
good
does.
for her. Good for her. I
Well,
might read the second one. I don't
The
know.
next book
but
just came out,
like
like
literally.
February 14th, 2026.
Yeah. But you know what? I gotta give props to the author for just going for it.
Going for it.
Because this is crazy.
No abandon, just like
Yeah,
whatever.
just, you know what? I would love to know how you came up with that. You were like, you know what I want to write?
Gosh,
Chicken
I
nuggets
know.
getting dipped in a sauce.
Yeah.
And I eat a lot of
Mhm.
chicken nuggets. So now that pops into my head when I'm eating my McNuggets.
Every
I'm
time
like,
you're dipping, you're going to be like,
every time like I only use sweet and sour sauce, so I don't know what that says about me. Maybe Kate Bella would have some thoughts about why I only use McDonald's sweet and sour sauce.
that's funny.
I should branch out, maybe. So yeah, apologies to everyone for that. Not really though, because that was super funny to read. And thank
Yeah.
you to Danielle for knowing me so well and knowing that I did indeed need to read The Final Dip. I could not possibly come up with a good transition after that. So we're just
We
gonna
just go right into
we're
our
gonna go.
questions. Yeah.
What character would you want to go on a road trip with? Sarah.
I said Tick Maynard from In the Middle of the Horsemen because he obviously takes a few road trips. If you're like a big time horse shower, you frequently haul horses all over the country. And he's originally from Vancouver, and he brings his horse to Florida.
Yeah.
And
It's a long drive.
he and his dad take the trailer and they drive, and he talks about the conversation they have. And I just think a long road trip, he would be the person we would probably just talk about horses for, I don't know, 7 straight days and the things that he learned because he learned so many interesting things, so
He's a
that's
real person?
he's a real
Mhm.
person, yep.
Okay,
He's
that's
my
cool.
'cause it was a nonfiction book even. I read a nonfiction book, how about that?
What?
I
Oh,
know.
you.
Alright, Marianne, what did you say?
I said Jack Dean from These Summer Storms. He's the one who's the fixer.
Mhm.
He's
Mm.
sort of mysterious, pretty dreamy, and very loyal. I think and I'm sure he'd be a very careful driver,
Mhm.
and he'd take good care of you, so I would pick him. How about
Yeah.
you, Kit?
I picked the Illustrated Man. He doesn't have a name in the book, so he's just the Illustrated Man. I think there's a movie that came out in the 60s that gave him the name of Carl, which I just find like, and then there's
Random.
Carl. But in the book, he's just the Illustrated Man. I'm low key obsessed with the idea of tattoos that can shift and change to
Yeah.
tell different stories. And in the book, the premise is that the Illustrated Man regrets his decision to become illustrated. And he's been wandering essentially Wisconsin at this point to find the witch who gave him the tattoos initially. And he kind of hooks up with people along the way, and that's how the stories are told. But I think I'd want to just go like roaming the countryside with the Illustrated Man, and I want to see the stories come to life, even though they're not very happy stories. I just think there's something
No, but they're
cool about the
interesting, like,
idea that
yeah.
like they shift and change based on the watcher. Like, what would the
Mm.
stories tell me? Like, the stories in the book are telling his companion something specific, but what would they tell me? Like, I find that whole idea super intriguing. So that's what I would go with. Any place you'd like to visit from your books? Marianne.
Duh, Ireland from the
Yeah.
road trip. Okay, duh.
Uh,
It's always Ireland. I mean, nothing else really had a interesting location that I can think of, but Ireland, it always Ireland. Yeah. Okay, Kit, where will you go?
I picked Hope Falls for my husband's wife. It's on the Cornish coast. It's surrounded by moors and parks, so it's kind of like this tiny town surrounded by wild and natural spaces.
Mhm.
And one of the key parts of the book is set around Halloween, but they don't celebrate Halloween there. They celebrate All Saints Day and the Day of the Dead in a very like Latino fashion. I was like, it was kind of like this weird mashup of like local culture and borrowed culture that I found super interesting and wanted to like I would want to
Yeah, that's
see
interesting.
that. I'd want to see how they did that up. But we've talked about that in a couple other episodes, these kind of small town festivals
yeah,
that you
different
kind of want to
festivals around
immerse
the world.
yourself in.
Yeah.
So I would want to go there specifically the time of the year that they have these kind of street festivals and parades. How about you, Sarah?
Did not I struggled with this one. Most people would say Australia.
Mm.
I have, like, 0 desire to go to Australia.
Really?
I There's too many things that can kill me. Like,
I mean,
I
true.
like, seriously, like, just the giant spiders
Well,
and
wouldn't you wanna go to
snakes.
Australia Zoo? I would love to go to Australia
Yeah,
Zoo.
I do wanna go to
Yeah.
New Zealand. Like, I don't know how much different that
Yes.
is, but so I said Germany, which is one of the places that
Mhm.
Tick Maynard went to go
Mm.
study with Ingrid Klimke. I've never actually been to Germany. It's on my list. Um, but specifically, if I could go study with one of the greatest writers of the last several generations, I guess. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
because everything else was just kinda like same old in the
Right, right.
US, like
Yeah.
nothing. I wanna
Places you
say,
can go.
Life is Short might be Minneapolis again. I feel like all those books take place around
Mm.
Minnesota or something like
Yeah, they
that, and
do.
everything was just kinda and then I was like I mean, I love the reading about Australia, but was like, "Ugh." She talks about the spiders in the house, and I'm like,
You're
no,
like,
thank you.
"No, thank
No,
you."
thank you. No, thank you. I would be hiring an exterminator. Come clean my house."
Yeah.
Germany would be the safer choice for me, but maybe someday. I also don't really look forward to that 24-hour flight.
Yeah. My best
That's a
friend
rough one.
moved when I moved to Colorado, she moved to Australia, and it is a long flight. And they
Yeah.
do tend to plan like one time she had a layover here, so like we hung like the layover is huge, so like you have a day
Yeah.
in
You have a
Denver
day to
Yeah.
be
or
able
like
to
yeah, which
yeah.
I guess is not too bad, but that's still a very long flight.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Who would we like to have? What character would you like to have dinner with? Kit.
I chose Harrison from my husband's wife. He, as a character, horrible person. Not a great person. Although as you're reading it, you're like, "Oh, I see. I
See
see
where it's
how you
coming
like we
from.
talked about earlier. I see how
Yeah.
you ended up being the person that
Yes.
you are, and I guess like it kind
Yes.
of makes sense." However, he is voiced by Richard Armitage. As I said earlier, I just feed me and talk to me. Like
Mhm.
that's it.
Tell me
That's
I'm
the
pretty.
entire tell me I'm pretty and give me some cake.
Yeah.
That's the
Or a chicken
extent
nugget.
of my
Or chicken
chicken
nugget.
nuggets. Me and Richard Armitage eating chicken nuggets. I'm sure that's exactly the kind of food he eats. Um, but that was really the extent of my decision-making process. I looked at all my books and I was like, Richard Armitage, and therefore Harrison. And that was
There
it.
we go. Okay.
How about you, Sarah?
I said from the story keeper, Fiona, the main character, her uncle Tad, whose
Mm,
house she goes to inhabit in Australia. She grew up with him as a child. He also was an author, a very famous author. Um, and so he is kind of like the keeper of all the family stories,
yeah.
as well as the secrets, as you can quite imagine. So I think he would be one of those people that would be really interesting. There's a part where they talk about she finds all the letters and photos that he has kept in touch with authors over the years.
Mm,
And Kelly Reimer like name drops some people like
nice.
hardcore.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I can't even think of who, but you're like, oh yeah, I know
You're like,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
I know that
Yep.
one. I know. So you kind of get the idea that this guy would have a lot of really cool things to say. So
Mm.
Marianne.
I would pick Sybil Van Antwerp from The Correspondent. She'd probably correct my table manners and disapprove of what I was wearing. But she'd be super interesting and kind of like what you were just saying, Sarah. In the book, like because she writes all these letters, well, she writes to authors and she writes
Mhm.
to celebrities, and she mentions having a letter from Walt Disney. And I am jealous of a fictional character,
Yeah. Yep.
but like she has this ongoing conversation with Joan Didion and Ann Patchett and like all these like
Oh,
famous people. So I think she'd be really interesting. Plus
yeah.
the fact that she was an attorney, a female attorney before, female attorneys were probably super cool. And so she probably has lots of stories from working in the courtroom when she was working for a judge. So I think she'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
A part of it, I think, was because like for her, I think it was she owns a bookstore also. So, and there was another, who was it? Larry, what's his last name? I think he writes like cowboy fiction. Larry McNerdy, is
Mc
it?
McMurtry.
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 Yeah.
Kit knows
I,
that one.
I do know that one. I have
I
his
think
whole collection.
I think
That's
he has
awesome.
a bookstore too, according to the
Mm.
novel. So I mean, I think that was part of how they included some of the people. So I would pick her. What are we up to next?
Book
Top
recommendation.
recommendations.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go. We can go in order. Storykeeper, Kelly Reimer. I mean, I loved A Good Animal as well. It was
Mm.
really kind of tough between, but I feel like in terms of more people liking what I would recommend, I would say The Storykeeper.
Mhm.
A Good Animal was so specifically animals, sheep farms. I
Yeah.
recommended it to our FFA teacher. I was like, "Sam,
You're like,
I
"Let me
got a
tell
book
you
for
about
you.
this
You've
book."
got to read this. This is." And she grew up on a sheep farm, so she's
Yeah.
like all in. But I found the story so interesting, and I just couldn't stop listening to it. I
Mhm.
wanted to know more. I wanted to know what the secret of the house was. I wanted to know about this big old mansion in the Australian wilderness, and the mansion itself and the property holds secrets that don't even have anything to do with the family. It's like before the family moved in, there's all this stuff. I found it super riveting, so I will definitely be recommending that one.
Yeah.
Marianne, how about you?
Picked These Summer Storms. I just loved all the characters. Like there's like so crazy. There's like the brother who he's like the total nepo baby who doesn't do shit at work, but he expects to become the CEO even though he doesn't actually do any work. And there's the older sister who's always trying to please her mother, and the mother who's just such a royal raving bitch. And then it's funny, the youngest sister is like totally like into like auras, and she and her wife
Mhm.
own like this crystal shop, and she's always wanting to help you center yourself. And It is just like such a crazy mix of siblings. And then Alice, who's the main character, she has given up all the family stuff and she's an art teacher and an artist on the side. And there's just such a wide range of characters and all the billionaire family secrets, and it was really good. So I would pick that one. How about you, Kit?
I kind of went a different route. I picked one of the short stories out of Meet Cute. I thought Meet Cute was a great book, kind of overall. It was written in 2018 or probably written in 2017, published in 2018. Some of the stories did not age well. And through no fault of the authors, like COVID happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah,
some
yeah,
of
yeah.
the books that were supposed to be kind of like contemporary to like 2019, 2020, set in like big cities, I had a hard time separating myself from the fact that, like, no, you were not running around a cafe in 2019.
Right.
Um, but my favorite story out of the entire book was by Danielle Clayton. It was called The Way We Love Here. I talked about it a little bit last time when I was talking about like the book I'm reading next,
Mhm.
because that was the short story from the day before. But it's the one with the fated mates, and you have
Oh, yeah.
a red kind of line tattoo on your finger. And as the loops fade away, that's how you know you're closer to meeting your soulmate.
Well, that's interesting.
But if you meet someone that you think could be your soulmate, like, but it's not time yet, you can like match up, like hold hands by matching up your tattoos, and it
Okay.
will show you all the possible futures that you could have together. And the two characters that you meet right out the gate, he is super, super ill. The main male character is super, super ill. The main female character's family owns kind of like a bed and breakfast, and they have this private beach area, and he washes up on shore. And you find out later he was going to try and kill himself,
Mm.
but then thought better of it and was like, I do not want to do that. And when he popped out, she was there. And so they have this kind of like connection in the moment. So they match up little tattoos. And then the rest of the story is them seeing what the possible futures are that they could have together. And then there's a whole set based on the choices they make, based on what they saw, they get a different future. Like it kind of gives them these
Ooh.
paths that they can take, and they can choose differently. It was so well written, and then it just reminded me what an amazing author Danielle Clayton is. She does mostly YA in middle school, but or middle grade. She wrote The Marvelers, which is one of like my favorite middle grade um series that I give kids, but she also wrote the Bells
Oh, yeah.
series,
I see. I just pulled her up. Yep.
which is that series is phenomenal. She also wrote
Mhm.
Tiny Pretty Things with Sonia Cherapotra, which ended up becoming a Netflix TV show. Like she is prolific. And
Mhm.
I had kind of forgotten how much I loved the way she writes fantasy and like romance. And I immediately was like, well, now I got to go back
I
and
can yeah.
read some of these other books that I haven't read in a while because she's such a good writer. But that short story, for being like a 10-page romance in the middle of 14 other or
Yeah,
13
it's like,
other
how did you get all
romances.
that into like a
Yeah,
short
and like it
story?
stuck with me. Like when I didn't, when I was looking at all the books I read, that was my first gut reaction was, well, that's the one I'm going to talk about.
Mhm.
And that was on February 7th I read that story.
Yeah.
So that's definitely my number one, was The Way We Love Here by Danielle Clayton. So that's that. All right.
Is it
So
though?
I always feel like every time we're like, didn't read too much. And then we're like
Yeah.
No.
7 hours
I
later,
admit I
we're
read
like,
a lot on
so
that
many
one. Yeah.
books.
I read a lot this month.
So that was a big stack all the way across, and a lot of audiobooks too.
Yeah.
But the question remains, what book are you reading next? Sarah.
Well, I already told you I'm
Yeah,
currently
yeah.
listening to My Husband's Wife by Alice Fenny. But I'm also reading The Guncle by
Oh, I
Stephen
love the
Raleigh.
Guncle.
Yeah.
It's been on my TBR forever, and my book club finally we're like, "We need to read this." It is so funny. So funny.
There's
Um,
a really sad part to it,
it
but
is sad. I mean, it's he has to Patrick lives in Palm Springs, and he, ends up taking his best friend/slash sister-in-law's children because she has just passed.
Yeah.
He met her first in college, they were best
Yeah.
friends, and then she met his brother, they got married, so
That's not the
he
sad
kinda
part. There's a
has
part
the
that made me cry. So,
but just him trying to, like, manage he doesn't really know how to be a dad, but, his friend's widow needs time by himself, so he's like, "I need you to take the kids." And
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm not a dad." I'm like, "I'm a gay out of work actor."
Right.
And he lives in Palm Springs, and he's so funny, like, just the stereotypical
mhm.
gay actor with his martini in his hand, and he walks around with his caftans on, and "It's a dress, darling. Anyone can wear whatever they want," kinda thing, and he gives the kids, Guncle rules. I love too that the kids his nickname is Gup, and he was like, "Why are the children calling me Gup?" Like, he says this to his brother, and he's like, "You're gay Uncle Patrick."
There
Or
it
no, he
is.
says, "Gay Uncle Pat," and he's like, "Do not call me Pat. I hate the name Pat. Call me Patrick."
Or Gup.
I
So they
really
call him
love
Gup. So there's lots of funny, but also a good mix so far because 'cause I'm, like, halfway, very poignant parts where the children, he's trying to grieve as well as the children, and they're
Yeah.
trying to figure it all out together.
there's a part about his former partner that's really sad. So when you
Yes.
get to that,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I know what happened to his former partner, but I haven't read yeah, which is
There's
the
a
other
part
thing too. He's also alone. He was on a sitcom, a super famous sitcom, doesn't wanna act anymore, just kinda wants to stay out of the limelight, but
the
really funny
second
book.
the second one is so much fun because the kid's, dad is getting remarried in, Lake Como, and so
Oh, so
Ooh.
they
I'm
go
gonna
to
have to read
Europe.
that then. I'm gonna have to read that. It takes place
And
in
s
Italy.
but Gup takes them on, like, a European tour for, like, a week or 2 before they meet up with his dad and his new wife in,
Yeah.
Lake Como, and the wedding is just a total shit show,
Of course, of
but there's a
course.
really cute scene where, they go to visit the place in Strasbourg,
Okay.
and they end up all singing one of the songs
The
from,
sound right,
Sound of
like, yeah,
Music,
yeah, yeah, in
yeah.
Strasbourg, yeah.
But, like, this a whole group of tourists are, like, marching around the fountain and singing one of the songs, and then, like there's, like, at the end, um, it was, like, their mom's favorite, I think it was, if I remember it correctly, and it was, like, so funny and so sweet and then so
Yeah.
sad, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like a little bit about grief, but also
Yeah.
funny because
Yeah.
he's trying to figure out how to be a parent. He doesn't know how to be a parent, but he
A
you
lot of
know
people didn't like the second one, but I like the
Yeah,
second
I've heard
one,
that
so
too, but I'm like, I still wanna read it, so,
yeah.
yeah. So that's my current
And I guess there's another one coming out too, I'm super excited about.
Really?
I wanna
Ooh.
see Maisie and Grant some more
I
and Gay
know,
Uncle
they're
Patrick.
adorable. And the dog named
Oh, yes, yes, what's
Marlene
the
Dietrich.
yes.
Very like a very stereotypical gay actor who's in love
Yeah.
with all, like,
Classic
the
movie
classic
stars,
leading
yeah.
ladies,
Actors, yeah.
they're
Well,
glorious,
we
but
should introduce her to, Harry Styles.
yeah, Harry
Harry
Styles,
Styles.
Marlene Dietrich, it's all good. All right, Marianne, how about you?
I'm currently reading Skylark by Paula McLean. I have it as an ARC, but the book actually came out on January 6th, and it's historical fiction. It's got 3 different timelines, part of which is set in France during the Nazi occupation. So I'm really curious. Like the one timeline is like from the 1660s, one is like from 1990s, and one is from like the 1940s. So I'm really curious to see how they're all going to come together. So, what about you, Kit?
I'm reading one and listening to one, but the book I'm reading is called The Way Out. It's a true story of survival in the heart of the Rockies. Haven't gotten yet to the part where they have to survive, but it's set it's three dads are taking their teenagers backcountry skiing to one of the backcountry huts, and based entirely on foreshadowing, I'm anticipating an avalanche of sorts.
Mhm.
But right now they're just giving us kind of background on why these people were qualified to be skiing in the backcountry. Just kind of, I think, to show that even
It wasn't
the,
just
the
idiot,
most,
it wasn't just
yeah,
random
like
people going, "Let's
one
go
of them,
skiing
one of
here."
them's a
They
backcountry guide, the other one
Right,
was a park ranger for like decades,
yeah,
the other one's a doctor who is like wilderness first aid trained. Like these are people that know what they're doing
yeah,
and have done like hut trips before, have done a lot of backcountry ski. Like, so these are people that, know what they're doing, know how to stay safe. I'm anticipating an avalanche just because they passed someone on the trail who's like, oh yeah, my other friends went up that way. look too like sketchy for me. I'm always worried about avalanches, so
Mm.
I'm skiing out.
Foreshadowing,
So
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing it's going to be. I could be wrong completely. I'm guessing it's going to be an avalanche of sorts, but I'm excited to kind of see how that one goes. I really do love survival kind of stories, especially when it's places that I'm familiar with,
Yeah.
so I can kind of like picture it more. And then
Hopefully no cannibalism. So,
I don't
Yeah.
think so. I feel like that would be a lead off somewhere. You don't really want to jump scare people with cannibals. I'm also listening to The Lost Letters of Aisling, which I was just like living on my Audible, and I was like, why do I have this book? And it's kind of like a mystery. But do you remember forever ago when Sarah, you wanted a book that featured lavender,
Yes.
like lavender fields?
Yes.
Apparently, I downloaded this audiobook then
Okay.
because one of the characters, I'm like 18 chapters in and like it's phenomenal, but the one of the main characters, Sullivan, grows lavender. And I was like, that's why I downloaded this book.
No, we also considered that book for next month.
Oh, okay. So it must have
So
come
it
up
might have
again.
been, yeah.
Yeah, I had it on there for a while because when I looked at it, I was like, why did I download this in like
Yeah.
July?
Yeah, I
Like,
remember
what
because I
was
was
I
thinking,
doing?
"Oh, you decided to read that one too," because
Yeah,
that was
nope.
one of the ones our listeners
Yeah,
had
I
suggested.
was out of credits till the start of the month. So I was like, "Oh, I already have that on here. I'll listen to
Yeah.
that." It is so good so far. It's it's dual timelines, so it's the late 1940s, so just during the tail end of kind of Ireland's involvement in the war and leading into kind of like their internal kind of issues. And then present day, the main character uh Evie is the young girl in the 40s, and then she's the grandmother in the present day, and she has a very sheltered life, but then she meets a girl named Harding and
Mm,
kind of breaks out of her shell a little bit. Harding is involved in some sketchy shit. She gets them both in trouble. And then where I'm at right now is we don't know how or why Evie ended up raising her family in America, but she is on her deathbed. She is on her way out the door, and she's like, I have to get back to Ashland, which is her childhood home, which is now a bed and
okay.
breakfast, because I have to find these letters and I have to
Oh.
tell him I never forgot about him.
Hmm.
But we don't know who he is. We don't know, like, it's
Ooh,
very,
yeah.
yeah. So it's a mystery of sorts, but not like
right.
like a scary, creepy
Right,
mystery. It's
right,
more of
yeah.
like a family kind of mystery.
Okay.
And then last month I bailed on the book we chose for the Unhinged, which was St. Patrick's Day one, because the minute Danielle sent me the video about the final dip, I was like all in. So now I do need to pick a new book though, but I don't know what topic. Like what do I search for this month? I feel like it needs to be like a trope or a genre instead of like we've been doing holidays quite a bit.
Hmm.
But
Let's see, April.
yeah.
I mean, do monsters fake date?
I feel like trolls. For some reason, trolls just came
Trolls,
into my
trolls.
head.
I
Like the
did.
troll under the bridge kinda thing? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Well, trolls need love too.
I know.
I did just literally just open Kindle Unlimited, and it's like, you have a messed up reading history. Here's some suggestions.
Yeah.
And the first one that came up is Creamed, a summer monster romance. Beastly Feasts. It's about a girl working on a Caribbean cruise. And then she gets stuck in the yacht's freezer. And I think she messes around with ice cream. I think is what happened.
I mean, are you looking for, like, a more sentient, like
Yeah, I think maybe something more sentient. My list is like all really jacked up stuff, and then it's like, maybe do you want to also read Brave New World? Like Animal Farm? Like there's absolutely no middle ground on my suggested Forked. Oh my god, I should read Unhinged, the erotic door romance.
the
We've
door one?
talked
You have
about
not
that
read that
before.
one. Have you not read that
No,
one
I
about the
don't think I've
doorknob?
read
Maybe
it.
you need to
Oh my god. Or Forked, a lighthearted utensil romance.
Oh my God.
A woman discovers a set of antique silverware that contains a World War II super soldier and his unit who are trapped in
his
cutlery
unit.
by the government. She must decide whether to believe his fantastical claims and fall in love with a fork. Is that an earthquake or is your fork just happy to see you? That was the tagline on that. Oh my God. Amazing. The spicy
Wow.
scenes in this novella are purely fictional. Do not
You
attempt
think?
to reenact any of them.
Oh my God.
I don't want to hear that any of my readers, FAFO, that's forked around and found out. Yeah.
God.
All right. I think I'm going to go with forked. I'm also going to save creamed just because why
Just
not?
maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe
And then,
next
you know
month.
what? If readers or Danielle have any other suggestions or
Yeah.
videos that you see that are like, you know who needs to read this is Kit.
Yeah.
Because no one else will.
Right. Somebody's got to
Send
read
them
and
our
review
way.
it.
Somebody has to read it for the good of the people.
Wow.
I don't
Okay,
remember that.
where are we at? Okay.
Anyways, that's it.
Oh.
It's the wrap up.
If you haven't listened to last month's book club episodes, just Our Luck by Denise Williams, why not? It's so good. Plus, we talked about donuts for a really long time.
Yeah.
A really long time.
We also have an author interview with Matthew Norman, who wrote our December book of the month feature, Grace and Henry's Holiday Movie Marathon. And coming up next month, we are featuring The Story Collector by Evie Woods. I'm assuming it's Evie because she's Irish,
I would think
right?
so.
Evie Woods, which was one that was recommended by our listeners. I am so excited to start this one.
Yeah.
And don't forget to follow our socials, subscribe to the podcast, and please leave us a review. We want to know what you think.
And hey there. Did a book from this episode instantly become a must buy for you? You're in good company if it did. And have we got a deal for you? This episode features all the books we read last month. And while you can always find our recent reads on our bookshop.org storefront, we're also highlighting a special Women's History Month featured list for the entirety of March. And it's a curated collection celebrating powerful stories by and about women, alongside all of our usual favorites and a few very tempting upcoming releases. And there's a couple bonuses there for you. One, it always supports independent booksellers, which we love almost as much as we love great writing, surprising turns, and stories that are going to live in our heads rent-free for the near future. But you can also get 20% off all of the books that are on the Women's History Month list. Super simple. You can just hop onto our bio. There's a link tree in there. Click on the bookshop.org page, scroll on down to that list, and just start shopping. Shop till your little heart's desire is full. Get that 20% off. Pick up some other books. Support independent bookstores. If you'd like the link to our shop, it is bookshop.org/shop/RETR-book club. That'll get you there too. So shop smart, shop indie, and read recklessly.
Until next time, keep reading.
Keep exploring. And don't forget to pack the snacks.
The chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets.
Oh my God.
Chicken nuggets and sauce.